Hi, everyone. Welcome to our ISEP application workshop. We are going to get started in just a few moments. We would love to see where everyone is tuning in from. So if you want to drop in the chat where you are tuning in from today, that would be great. Thank you. France.
From France, UK, the Netherlands, awesome. A lot of countries coming in, the US, Austria, Sweden.
Awesome, thank you everyone. And for everyone who's just now entering, we will get started in a few moments. But if you want to go ahead and drop in the chat where you are tuning in from, that would be great.
You have really awesome representation around the world. I see Finland, I see Spain, New Jersey, Nebraska, Seattle, but in Georgia currently. This is awesome. Thank you all for coming out.
Okay, we'll wait one more second. Awesome. And just one more time for anyone who wants to drop in the chat where you're tuning in from today, that would be great. Okay, so I think we're ready to go ahead and get started with today's workshop. So thank you everyone for joining for today's ISEP application workshop. My name is Grace Glancy. I am ISEP Student Services Officer for programs in Central and Southern Europe, and I will turn it over to my colleagues Rachel and Rachel to introduce themselves.
Yes, hi everyone. My name is Rachel. I work as the Student Services Officer for programs that are in Asia at ISEP. It's really nice to see you all today. Thank you for coming out.
Hi everybody, my name is Rachel Gordon. I'm our Director of Enrollment Management here at ISEP, and I will be manning our chat and our Q&A. So if you have questions as the presentation is going on, please feel free to put them in the Q&A and I'll make sure that your questions get answered.
Awesome. Thank you, Rachel and Rachel. So in today's presentation, we are going to discuss how to submit an ISEP application, strategies for a competitive application, and who to contact for application help. At the end of today's workshop, you will have the opportunity to join a breakout question and answer session with the Student Services Officer of your primary region of interest. So we strongly encourage you to remain until the end of today's workshop. So ISEP's mission. At ISEP, we focus on providing accessible and affordable opportunities for students to study, intern, and volunteer abroad. We strive to make our ISEP programs immersive and authentic, allowing you to immerse yourself in your host university, community, and country, and truly live like a local. So how does ISEP work? So we have two main program types at ISEP. We have ISEP Direct and ISEP Exchange. For ISEP Direct, you pay specific program fee with flexible housing and meal options, and more information on what is included on the ISEP Direct program page. Your placement on ISEP Direct is guaranteed as long as you meet the academic and program requirements listed on the program page. For ISEP Exchange, you pay your home university's tuition, housing, and meals, and then that is covered for you wherever you go to your host university. For ISEP Exchange, you can list up to 10 sites on your program list. Your ISEP Exchange placement depends on program rankings and space available. Later on in the presentation, we will provide further tips on building a strong ISEP Exchange application. So how to apply? First step is to create an ISEP account. Once you create an ISEP account, you will have your ISEP homepage dashboard in which you will have the contact information for your home ISEP coordinator at your home university. Your home ISEP coordinator will be able to answer any campus-specific questions you may have, and they will ultimately be the ones to approve your ISEP application. You will also see the contact information for your ISEP Student Services Officer, such as Rachel and myself, and we will be able to meet with you one-on-one through advising sessions to answer questions you may have about our ISEP programs, courses, and the ISEP application process. So first, we have a poll for you guys before we go any further. Our first question for you is, where are you interested in studying abroad? What is your primary region of interest for studying abroad? So we'll give you a few moments to answer.
Looks like
Awesome.
we've got a lot for the US. We're just waiting on a few more folks answering. Some for Europe, some for Asia. Great. And we'll put the results up. So we got quite a lot for the US, a good amount for Europe, Asia, a little Latin America, a little Australia, all over.
Awesome, super exciting. And like we mentioned earlier, you will have the opportunity at the end of the session to meet with the Student Services Officer for your region of interest to ask further questions. So our next question for you is, where are you in the ISEP application process? Have you not started yet? Have you just started? Are you almost done? Or have you already submitted your ISEP application? So we'll give you a few seconds for those to come through.
Wow, looks like pretty even split here. We've got about a third of people haven't started yet, about a third just started, about a quarter are almost done, and just a few already submitted. Great.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for submitting the poll. And as we mentioned before, we do encourage you to reach out to your Student Services Officer if you have any questions on how to start your ISEP application, which is also what we're discussing today. And with that, I'm going to pass it over to my colleague, Rachel, who is going to discuss how to submit an ISEP application.
Thanks, Grace. So yes, we're going to go over how to submit an ISEP application, and we do have some helpful photos along the way that serve as a visual guide. So first, you're going to want to log in on our main landing page by hitting the button in the top right corner. Okay, and so if you've already created an account, then great, you can just sign in. But if you haven't, you want to sign up for an account on our ISEP website. You will have to input your name, your email, and your phone number. You want to be sure to indicate your home institution, so your current university that you are attending, and your primary region of interest, so you can be paired with the Student Services Officer at ISEP Global who can assist you with your questions. When you log into your ISEP account, this is what you're going to see. This is your main ISEP dashboard. This is where you're going to find important information moving forward in your study abroad journey for your program in general. So in the first part of your dashboard, in the top half, you're going to see information for your home university ISEP coordinator. And this is somebody at your study abroad office or your international office. They're designated to help students who are interested in ISEP with completing their application. And then below that, you're going to see information on who you can contact for help with your ISEP application and program enrollment. And that is going to be your ISEP Student Services Officer. It's somebody who works at ISEP Global, so like myself or my colleague Grace, and we will be able to assist you with any questions about finding programs that are a good fit for you. And so when you're on this page and you want to start your ISEP application, you want to hit the application button underneath the enrollment menu. To begin an ISEP application, you're going to see this page. It's either going to say start application, in which you can just hit that button, or it's going to say request permission. And what that means is that you need to request permission from your home university ISEP coordinator to start your ISEP application. And so you want to get in contact with them and ask them if there's anything you need to do to start your application, but you have to click this button to request the permission, and you can't start your application until you do so. Next, it's going to bring you to this page once you can start. you're going to hit the edit button to start and continue to edit your ISEP application throughout the process. But throughout the entire journey of working on your ISEP application, you can see the remaining steps that you have for submission. And so you want to make sure that all parts of the application submission process are completed, else your ISEP application isn't fully submitted to ISEP. And so we do have a YouTube video on how to start an ISEP application. We're going to put that in the chat so you guys can take a look at that video after our presentation today if you want to go over it again. Next, once you click on the edit button, it's going to take you to this page. This is the program list page. It's going to be empty if you're just starting, but when you are looking to search for ISEP programs, you can click the search for more programs hyperlink, and it's going to take you to a tool on our page that is our ISEP program finder. And so we're going to go into that in just a bit. But if you have any questions later on how to add a program onto your list, we are going to put that YouTube video in the chat as well, so you can save that and watch that in your own free time. So yes, this is our ISEP program finder. This is going to be the main tool that you're going to use to add your programs of interest onto your ISEP application. And so you can use this tool to filter by your chosen criteria. So that can be for a field of study that you are currently taking, wherever you want to go, the region, the country that you're interested in. And you can filter by all of those criteria and then do a search through our ISEP portfolio. So once you click on a program on this page as well, this is going to be how you can actually add the program onto your application. There's also a lot of advanced filters that you can use if you're interested in things such as GPA requirements, or you're even interested in campus size. You can filter by that by hitting the More Filters button, and it's going to show you all of those advanced filters. We also have a YouTube video on how to use the program finder and how to use it so you can best narrow down your options. And so we're going to put that in the chat as well, so you can take a look at that later. So to add an ISEP program onto your application, first you want to put in your chosen criteria in the top bar. You're then going to see a full list of programs after you hit the Apply Filters button. And so if you want, you can also take that list that you see when you do your search, and you can press Details, and it's going to turn it into a table that you can also use and export, so you can have that list of programs on file if you want to take it and talk with your home university later with that list. But also, if you want to find more information about the programs that fit your needs, you're going to want to click the name of the program, and that's going to take you to that program page. When you go to the program page, it's going to show you a lot of information. It's going to have information on an overview of the program. Then underneath, it's going to have information on course description. So it's going to have information that is relevant for students who are interested in studying there as an exchange or visiting student. And then at the very bottom, you're going to find information about the semesters and prices for the program. So when you get to that section, you want to click the semester that you're looking to go abroad. And then you can also choose your housing and meals if applicable, if there are other options you want to pick. Then on the right side, you're going to see two buttons. They're going to say Add to Application or Save for Later. If you see the program, but you're not sure if you want to commit to applying, you can always press Save for Later. And then if you want to add the program onto your ISEP application that you are working on, you can press Add to Application. And so this is what you are going to see once you add ISEP programs onto your program list. This is under the Program List tab when you go back to editing your ISEP application. So first, you're going to see some information on the top half. This is very important information about the chances of placement at ISEP. We're going to go over this in a little bit about what this means and how you use it to strategize your ISEP application, but you need to read through the information. We encourage clicking the hyperlink so you can read the information on our website. And then you must press the I have read and understood the above instructions box in order to move forward with your ISEP application. And then underneath that, you will see the list of programs that you've added onto your ISEP application. You can always change around the order. If you have a new program that's your new top choice, you can move it around, and you can use the move up and move down arrows if you would like. And then also we encourage keeping in mind the chances of placement for the programs you've added. It's going to be listed on the right side. It's going to say what the chances of placement is. We'll go over this again too later in our presentation, but please be mindful of it, especially if you're doing ISEP exchange. And then if you want to change any add-ons, or if you want to change your housing preferences, if that is applicable for you, you can also do it on this tab, and you can move and change that around, and then you want to hit save, so it saves your changes that you've added. And so now I'm going to take it back to my colleague Grace, and she's going to go over the other tabs of the ISEP application.
Awesome, thank you, Rachel. So once you complete your program list tab, you will move on to the academics tab. In the academics tab, you will list all of the fields of study that you intend to take while on program, as well as your academic level and language. For example, in this example, undergraduate in German. You can list several fields of study and subfields of study. However, listing subfields of study is not required. Make sure that when you add further fields of study that you're clicking that save floppy disk icon. And if you wish to remove a field of study, you press the remove button. And to add another, you press the add another button. If you do not see an area or field of study reflected in your program options, this most likely means that it is not available at that specific program. So I encourage you to reach out to your student services officer to discuss other possible program options for you. Once you add all of the academic information for all of your programs of interest on your program list, you will click Save and Continue to go to the next tab. The next tab of your application is the Documents tab. The first step, and required for ISEP Exchange and Direct students, is to upload an official transcript. If you have not yet requested an official transcript and you're applying for fall, full year, or summer 2023 programs, we encourage you to do so as soon as possible. If you have any questions on how to request an official transcript, we encourage you to reach out to your home ISEP coordinator. Your official transcript will need to have your fall 2022 grades completed. You will attach your official transcript here through Add Files. The next section is Academic Reference. This is only required for ISEP Exchange students. To request an academic reference, you will click the Request an Academic Reference button. Then you will enter in the full name and email of a professor that can speak to your academic preparedness to study abroad. Once you enter in their information and then request the academic reference, they will be sent a form to complete your academic reference. Once they have completed your academic reference, you will be able to see the date in which they completed the reference, and it will be marked in blue once they completed the reference. Once again, if you are applying for an ISEP Direct program, you are not required to request an academic reference. The next component is a language evaluation. So you will see for some programs, it requires an LPR, a language proficiency report. If you're applying for a program where you have to take courses in a foreign language and they accept an LPR, then you will need to request a language evaluation here. Similar to the process of requesting an academic reference, you will enter in the full name and email of your most recent language professor in that respective language. So for example, French in this case, you will enter in your most recent French language professor's full name and email. They will be sent a language evaluation form. They will complete the form based on their interpretation of your language proficiency for this specific language. And then once they complete the language proficiency report, those scores will be populated on the next tab, eligibility. The final section is the upload additional documents section. You'll be able to see if your programs of interest require additional documentation through the special application instructions section on the program page. Some examples of additional documents could include a motivational letter or a resume. If you do need to upload additional documents, you will do that through the Add Files button here. Once you complete the Documents tab, you will press Save and Continue. So the next section of the application is the Eligibility tab. On this tab, you will enter in your academic level while abroad, for example, sophomore, junior, undergraduate, graduate, and your US GPA if applicable. As I mentioned on the previous tab, if you had to complete a language proficiency report, your scores from that report will populate here. Additionally, if you're required to submit a TEFL or IELTS scores, then you will also enter in the information and upload your documentation of those scores on this tab. Once you complete this first section, you will then click to verify the above qualification, which will then show you if you are eligible for all of your programs. If there is a program in which you do not meet the eligibility requirements, it will list out the requirements in which you do not meet, and we encourage you to reach out to your student services officer to discuss other program options. Once you finish the eligibility tab, you will click Save and Continue to go to the next tab. The next tab is the Biography tab. On the Biography tab, you will fill in your full biographical information, including first name, last name, date of birth, as well as your passport information. If you do not yet have a valid passport, we encourage you to click No, do you currently have a passport? However, we also encourage you to start the renewal process for your passport as soon as possible, as you will need a passport and most likely a visa for your program. If you have any questions on this, please reach out to your student services officer. And once you renew your passport after you submit your ISEP application, you will need to send your student services officer an electronic copy of your passport for them to upload in your application. Once you complete this tab, you will press Save and Continue and then go to the Other tab. In the Other tab, you will need to write if you have any special needs or if there's anything else your host site will need to be aware of. Things that you might want to include on this tab would be academic accommodations, such as needing extra time for testing, mental health needs, such as specific medications or support services, as well as other medical accommodations that you will need while abroad. Once you complete this section, you will press Save and Continue. Once your application is complete and you save all tabs, you will press click Save and Exit, and then return to your ISEP application tab. Once you're ready to submit your ISEP application and you've reviewed all tabs, you will hit the Submit button at the right-hand corner of your application box. Once your application is ready to be submitted, the Submit button will turn from gray to orange. You will also be able to see your application is ready to submit in the box. Once your application is submitted, it will go to your home ISEP coordinator, who will review and approve your ISEP application on behalf of your home university. You will then be instructed to pay your $100 ISEP application fee to finalize your submission. Please note that some universities may bill you separately for your application fee, so you will be able to see in this box once your application has been fully submitted to ISEP. In order to pay your ISEP application fee, you will go to the Invoices tab and make a payment. As I mentioned, if you are required to pay the ISEP application fee, your ISEP application will not be considered fully submitted until you pay this fee. And now I'm going to pass it back to my colleague Rachel to discuss strategies for a competitive application.
Thanks, Grace. So yes, in terms of strategies for a competitive ISEP application, first, it's going to be important to understand our overall placement model again. My colleague Grace mentioned it before, but we do have two types of programs at ISEP. We have ISEP Direct and ISEP Exchange. If you are interested in ISEP Direct, then your chances of being placed at your top preferred program is guaranteed, as long as you meet that program's eligibility requirements. So you are not required to create a preference ranking when you're doing ISEP Direct, and you can just apply to that one program. But if you are interested in ISEP Exchange, each program on ISEP Exchange only has a certain number of space available for applicants, and that impacts every applicant's chances of placement. And so for chances of placement at ISEP Exchange, it ranges from excellent to most competitive. And so at ISEP, we try to place students in their most preferred program, but specific placements cannot be guaranteed, and students only get one placement at one institution. And so therefore, we recommend listing multiple options on your ISEP application aside from your top program of choice. You can list up to 10 programs per term, and if you're applying to the United States, then we encourage listing up to 10 programs just based off the popularity of that location. But if you are applying for ISEP exchange for other regions, we recommend listing 3 to 5 programs on your list, and you are not required to list all 10. If you have a most competitive program that you are interested in and that you'd like to attend, and you want to be considered for placement there, you must have it as your #1 choice, and you can't have more than one most competitive program on your application. And so if you're applying for ISEP exchange to make your application list flexible, we encourage you to aim to have at least 1 to 2 programs that are a good or excellent chance of placement, and that helps create your application and make it more flexible in general. And if you have any questions on finding programs that are a good or excellent chance of placement at ISEP, you can use the program finder, and you can also use the more filters tab, and you can use that so you can be able to search by chances of placement. There's a drop-down menu that you can use. And you can always reach out to your student services officer. We are all here, so you can have some recommendations on what you can search for if you have specific criteria that you're looking for. So overall, in terms of our tips and tricks from ISEP Global on how to maximize your chances of receiving a placement on where you want to go, we first recommend diversifying your ISEP program list. We have a lot of programs that are available all around the world. Do not be afraid to use the program finder and to explore and take some time to read through the program pages so you can see if there's somewhere that you'd like to go that you didn't otherwise think about before. And if your home university does allow students to apply to ISEP Direct, you do want to definitely consider doing ISEP Direct. We have a number of universities that offer ISEP Exchange and ISEP Direct locations. And so doing ISEP Direct is the best way to ensure your spot there. And placements for ISEP Direct are given on a rolling basis after March 1st. And so if you are also interested in studying abroad through ISEP, you want to always make sure that you're talking with your home university about your options for financing your study abroad, especially if you're considering ISEP Exchange and ISEP Direct. It's a good idea to talk about how your financial aid is going to apply. For most financial aid for ISEP Exchange, it can be applied. But for ISEP Direct, you just want to make sure that you're having that conversation so you're aware of what loans, scholarships, grants that you're receiving are going to apply if you do ISEP Direct. And then, as mentioned before, you can always use the Save for Later function when you are looking for ISEP programs and save it on your in your list of your programs that you are not sure if you want to commit to, but you can always just have that list. You can talk with your home university. You can talk with us here at ISEP Global with your student services officer to kind of talk about those options so you can decide whether you want or not you want to add it on your ISEP list. And so, yes, we went over a lot of information today, but if in case you still have questions about completing your ISEP application, we do have our student services team. We are all here today, and each one of us covers a region in the world. And so, as mentioned before, we are going to have breakout sessions in Zoom so that you can meet with one of us and you can ask your specific questions about that region and how to apply, make a competitive application, and so on.
All right. Thank you, guys. So as Rachel said, we're going to give everybody the opportunity to join a breakout group and ask their questions directly to their student services officer. So we'll have each student services officer put their link in the chat, and we can help you get on into the group that will be best for you. So I think we're going to start with the United States. If you're interested in studying in the United States, we're going to ask Cynthia and Jackie to put their link in the chat, and everybody can join that group. So this link from Jackie is for if you're interested in studying in the United States or Canada or Puerto Rico, you can join this link. Next up, if you're interested in studying in Spain or Latin America, we have Kira here. Kira, can you put your link in the chat? Perfect. So again, if you're interested in studying in Spain or Latin America, you can click on Kira's link to go meet with Kira. Next, if you're interested in studying in the United Kingdom, Ireland, or Oceania, we have Honora here, and Honora will put her link in. So if you're interested in the UK, Ireland, Australia, New Zealand, you can click on Anora's link. Next, if you're interested in studying in Asia, Rachel is going to put her link in the chat. Great. So if you're interested in Asia, put it there. If you're interested in studying in France, Belgium, Switzerland, Northern Europe, Africa, or the Middle East, Gretchen will put her link in the chat. And now, if you're interested in studying in Central Europe, Grace will put her link in the chat.